Money day, guys and girls. I hope you're blessed. Today is the second Sunday Setups Market Outlook session of the month, run by myself, Lit Capvel. Hope you guys are blessed and having a good weekend so far. Now, with that being said, what we are going to be showing you guys today is an outlook on some currency index, some indices, excuse me, and some commodities, and really show you guys how we think the markets may play out over the week to come. There's a lot of news economically as well to be released next week, so should be a hot week. But with that being said, we are, of course, going to start at the best place, the first place to start your trading career here, okay? Learn, interact, trade, learn, invest, trade. If you guys are new to trading or you have friends who are interested in learning how to trade, send them over to litcapital.co.uk. If you guys have been trading for quite some time, but you guys don't have enough know-how to make your trades a consistent, reliable winning formula, learn, interact, trade. Okay, litcapital.co.uk. We got you guys, we'll look after you. We've got a package where we provide you guys with access to our community. We do a group course. Okay, the group course is currently underway at the moment. But if you inquire for a group course, you can enroll into the next one, which is free of charge. Or if you guys are looking for a free consultation, you can easily book us in to see exactly what we do, how we do, but most importantly, how it can benefit you. So with no further ado, we're going to head over to the economic calendar and see what we've got on the agenda next week. Now, from Monday, we've got GDP, and it's really just a day full of British news. And as we go into Tuesday, we've got CPI for the US, and then Wednesday it starts to warm up because we've got the Kiwi interest rate, CPI for the pound. We've got the interest rate for the Canadian dollar. And then as we go into Thursday, as always, right on time, we've got the European interest rate decision. We've also got initial jobless claims for the dollar. Now, we've had a lot of poised information about the euro. You know, is it going to collapse? The economy right now is falling. So will it recover is the question. And of course, next week, Thursday, I believe there's going to be a lot of moves taking place. So we'll go over the euros on the midweek outlook on Wednesday. If you guys are not inside the Discord and not a paying subscriber, you need to be so that you can get access to our midweek outlooks, which are only exclusively released to members who are subscribers in our Discord. Okay, Friday we can see it's Good Friday. So of course there won't be no activity in the markets then. So with that being said, I'm going to start by showing you guys the DXY, okay? Now, with the DXY, okay, we finally hit that 100 mark. I mentioned this on our live stream last week. We finally hit the 100 mark, and, you know, the 100 mark was very significant because it actually indicated a 2-year high. And we put ourselves in a position where once we overcame that high, you know, price was okay to then start pulling back down. And that's what we saw happening. Now, interestingly, before I actually go into what we see happening on another pair, what we also want to speak about with the dollar is how much conflict there is at the moment with Russia and Ukraine and what this is doing for American investors. And we can see there's a lot of uncertainty formulating around the US economy. And of course, that should result in the dollar becoming weaker. But what we can see over the past 7, 8, 9 days, the dollar has just been growing stronger. So since, of course, the dollar is now taking out the highs, it's taking out the 2-year high, you know, we can now really look at the dollar looking to just naturally recline and make a move to the lower side before it maybe continues pushing higher. Okay, I was saying last week throughout our live streams, and by the way, guys, if you're not involved in our live streams, then you definitely should be, okay? They take place inside of our Discord from 7 a.m. to 8:45 a.m. GMT. And again, secondly, the second live stream throughout the day is from 12:45 p.m. to 3 p.m. GMT. And on these live streams, we've mentioned that the price action was really, really bullish for the dollar. So we couldn't really see the dollar pushing down. You know, the only way was up with the dollar just based on the price action. And now, of course, I can see that we could get a pullback, but ultimately, when we're looking at this picture here, guys, we should really be looking at the dollar continually to be bullish because, the Fed have an invested interest to keep the dollar strong. So with that being said, let's move over to the bond market. Let's see what the Mac Daddies are doing. Okay, for those who don't know, the bond market is the Mac Daddy. Now, we rarely go over the bond markets in our market outlook, so pay attention because we're only going to do this once, okay? The bonds are actually falling off. They're at an all-time low, okay? With the bonds being at an all-time low, this only means now that the only liquidity areas on this chart is above. So eventually, and I'm not saying it's going to take place on Monday, but what I am saying to you guys is because we've now taken out all of the lows when it comes to the 10-year bonds, the only possible areas for liquidity is going to be above. So we can look at this candle here, we can look at this candle here for potential mitigation. But ideally, what we're looking to see next week is a reversal. Okay, and if the bonds continue to push off, then boy, we know what that means for the dollar. The dollar is really going to be in some trouble here. So let's actually pay attention to how the bonds open and how they actually move throughout next week, because we know there has been a massive sell-off of bonds. But of course, when there's a massive sell-off, there's always a massive buyback. So, let's see how the US and the Federal is gonna get their way out of this one, okay? Because they usually love to buy bonds. So let's see exactly what happens throughout next week. But if the markets continue to stay bearish, then we know what the dollar is going to be doing as well. Next, I'm going to go over the S&P. Now, I've got two areas here which you can see on the chart. One which is 5,000, the other one is 3,800. Now, these are two areas that JP Morgan both came out and publicly announced that these were areas that they think the markets could hit. Now, with that being said, for those who follow the stock market, you'll notice that anytime JP Morgan has made a call, that call has always been hit. So the question is, where are we going to hit first? Are we going to hit the 5,000 mark, or are we going to hit the 3,800 mark first? Who knows? But what we can say based on the price action is that we are slowly starting to see the bears coming back into the market. Even though we had this massive pullback, okay, we can see now that there's an invested interest for price to push lower, fill some imbalance potentially before deciding to do anything else. But with that being said, on a weekly, we can also see price did play into this weekly lit block. Okay, I can move this higher. Price played into the weekly lit block, once, twice, 3 times. This time it came into it a lot deeper, but nonetheless, it has played into it. So it can actually push up from here and make a new high and go towards that 5,000 JP Morgan target. But of course, I'm just showing you the picture on the higher time frame. If we go into the smaller time frame, it does look like the way how price closed on Friday, it does look like, we didn't actually take out the daily low. Which would actually have been the low, I believe, on Tuesday or Wednesday. So because we didn't take out this low, all this simply meant now was that there was an invested interest for price to push lower, but we didn't get that. We got price coming really close to the low and then pushing up. How the price actions close now, I believe we can get a continued push to the downside. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to head over to the next pair. But, the indices are something that we trade daily. So we will be keeping you guys informed and up to date inside the Discord. So you have to make sure you're involved in the channel. Otherwise, you're not going to get access to the trades and to the analysis we're providing on a daily. I'm also going to go over the NASDAQ. Okay, this one is for you, GJ King. The NASDAQ worked really, really nice last week. And we can see as well, again, okay, there's an invested interest in what the picture is showing us for prices to push lower, fill some of the imbalance, maybe work out of this weekly lit block before price pushes higher. Even so, with that being said, we can still see, if we go on the monthly here, that, there's still bearish price action, which actually does show us that price can continue to push lower. So, I mean, what we're trying to take into consideration here is, does the picture on a higher time frame give you a bearish or bullish bias? And then once you get a bias on the higher time frames, what can you find fundamentally that can support your bias? And those who jump onto the live streams, you'll notice that we provide a lot of fundamental updates. We check news regularly, and we also try to combine, you know, what we're reading in the news to what we're seeing on the charts. So with that being said, we are looking for prices to continue pushing down lower with the Nasdaq, but we need to see how the tech stock pans out on Monday. So we'll keep you guys more informed about that as and when we can. And I think we're coming towards the end now. We've got 2 pairs left to show you, and this is GU. Now, GU's been very bearish over the past year and a bit, okay? But what's interesting is that this candle here, okay, I did think we was going to close beneath this bullish candle, but we didn't. But the formation was always looking bearish, so we always knew we was going to get a stronger push to the downside, which of course would result in a stronger push to the upside for the dollar. Now, we're currently inside this weekly lip block. So if we are to see a pullback, I mean, if you think about things from a lower high, lower low, okay, we could be on the verge. If price does respect this weekly lip block and doesn't close beneath it, we could be on the verge of seeing that lower high. And if we see this lower high, okay, because technically at the moment it's pushed up and it's come down, right? But it hasn't closed beneath the previous low. So if we can get that push up to this up candle, that would be really, really nice. And of course, that push up to the up candle will of course give us an even better entry for the short. So pay attention to that, guys, because that is going to be what we're looking at for next week. Of course, it's a long way away. You know, a lot needs to happen for us to be able to believe in shorting a lot needs to happen, for us to believe that GU will recover all the way up to 134, 135. That's, you know, it's quite a long way away from where it currently is at the moment, down at 130. So let's see how the markets pan out next week. Last but not least, I'm going to go over silver. This one's for Toby, the Silver Surfer. Silver does look pretty clean at the moment. Okay, why I say it looks pretty clean is because we have had prices now push up and close above the high on the weekly, which now could just result in price pushing down to make a higher low to now push up and make a higher high. Now, if I just go on a blank canvas for a second and go on a monthly, what I want to show you guys is that technically we actually have had a reaction out of this monthly candle up here, this lip block. So we could get prices pushed lower. Now, if I go on a quarterly chart, we can see that, you know, this candle, there's a lot of wick above which this candle that we're currently inside of right now for this quarter can go for. Okay, and if anything, okay, we are in a position right now where this quarter can lead us to have a bullish run, okay? But we can also see that we failed to break above this monthly lip block up here as well. So we're kind of in a rock and a hard place with silver, with the commodities market. However, the supply and demand and the uncertainty of the economy is going to provide a stronger outlook on commodities. So, you know, those are some fundamental aspects that we can always fall back on to rely on. Because of course, you know, the more uncertainty we're seeing, like these markets, these traditional markets and these economies, the more we're seeing more, you know, more big bull runs on the commodities, on your oil, on your silver, on your gold. And gold has been quite stale. It actually closed on Friday, you know, pushing up finally. But I just want to show you silver because I believe silver might give you guys a better picture. If silver pushes up, gold's going to push up. Silver comes down, gold's going to come down. So what I do believe we can potentially be looking out for here is a bigger push to this candle over here at the 260. And if we can get a push up here, then I'd be open to seeing price pulling back and actually and falling lower from there. We can't ignore the fact that we are bullish, okay, but we are also in a consolidated range. So I'm just not expecting price to just break the range and just fly up. But we do also have to take into consideration that price can break the range in any direction. So, you know, it's always about being careful, being mindful, and having an analysis for both scenarios, you know, seeing price action for what it is, but also reacting as opposed to trying to always guess what's going to happen, you know, react from what you see in the markets as opposed to trying to foresee something happening. So with that being said, I believe that is all the pairs I'm going to show you guys today on the outlook. If you guys have found this valuable, please don't forget to smash the like button, share and subscribe. You know the vibes, it's lit side. And of course, if you guys are new to our channel, then be sure to head over to our Beginner's Guide to Forex playlist. We've got a free Beginner's Guide tutorial educational class that shows you guys from start to finish all the basics you need to know regarding trading. And I hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. You stay blessed, and we see you on the next one. Always remember, every day is money day. Peace.